Yes. We saw what is a resume, okay, and then we saw some websites and how we can use such a website, okay, and then the websites for private jobs and also for government jobs, okay, and then an example of a website that provides training materials, okay, for paid memberships. When you find some website, kindly discuss with your own dear faculty members. Okay, ask them how the website is. Is that okay to register? Okay, there will always be previously those people who have been experienced with such websites. Okay, Naukri.com, the first website, was the one which is popularly known for email hacking. Okay, you provide the details of the resume, you upload it. Within a week, your email will be hacked. Okay, so this used to happen before 2 years. So learn from others' mistakes. Don't do the mistakes yourself to learn from mistakes. Okay, and then we saw what are the things which you should emphasize when you are thinking of searching for a job is to improve your visibility in performance. Okay, get yourself outside the geographical boundaries and do that which is extra, so that your resume will have the additional weightage. And then the second one, be very clear in your goals, whether you want to settle in India or abroad, whether you want a clinical or academic, depending on your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and possible threats. And try to work upon your English, your body language, okay. When you stand, okay, there are a lot of people who stand like this. Okay, some people always stand like this, erect but a closed attitude. Okay, this one. But if you stand like this, that means erect and open. Okay, erect and you are ready to actually interact. Okay, when you are going to a group of people, you want to ask somebody an address. Okay, if there are 50, 60 people are there, whom will you ask? It is someone who maintains the eye contact, someone who looks at you. If you are standing there, the person is sitting here and you are like always looking down left side or towards the right side, nobody will ask you anything. Nobody will interact with you. Okay, and eye contact is a symbol of confidence. Okay, so they want people to interact face to face. Okay, all these are important. Computer skills and internet skills. And then check with the website of the employer. What is the actual interest, and also verify the authenticity of the job advertisement before applying. Don't keep applying everywhere. Okay. Ultimately what will happen is your resume will just end up as one of the pile of papers in a corner. The HR will dump your resume among the other resumes. Nobody will see that. When there is vacancy only you have to apply. Okay. And then the parts of the resume, we saw all this. First one is the covering letter or the cover letter. Most common mistake which everybody does is, please send your resume to this email. So what do? Send only the resume. Nobody mentions for what post they are applying, okay, and what are their actual abilities in a summary. In a covering letter you can just mention that I am so and so, I am qualified this much, I am interested to work for the post of this one in your institute. I am hereby attaching my resume for your kind perusal. Okay? And then with your signature, date, officially prepared letter. Because a good letter preparation skill is essential for anybody who is working in hospital or working as a teacher. Okay? It shows that first impression, the cover letter, the introduction, what you give about yourself. That's very important. Photograph, optional, but nowadays it is essential because you have lots of text, you have lots of papers. On which papers you give importance? If the paper has a photo, definitely you will not throw it. Okay? Because you will see the person. You are not seeing only the text. Okay, so photograph gives the added weightage. The HR people also remember Yeah. Last week you have given your resume. Because your photo was there in that resume. Otherwise, you will tell, I am Mr. Kumar. So they will ask, which Kumar? What Kumar? From where? What post Kumar? What is this? They will ask you. If you put the photo, the HR person will remember because they are technical staff. Okay? And if you are really bright enough to create a good impression, visual impression, then definitely your photo will be an added advantage to get you. But don't do the modeling. Okay? It should be a professional photograph. Yeah? Personal information. So I'm going to see each one. Okay? Cover letter. Usually you address it to the director or the manager of HR department, the human resource department. There only you address. Very rare cases, you will address to the dean, principal or the HOD of the department. Okay? If you are emailing, always email the HR and put the CC, the dean and the HOD. CC means the carbon copy. Okay, the copy too. If you are submitting a hard copy, printed resume if you are submitting directly, then submit to the dean or the HOD. So they will sign on that resume. Then they will send the hard copy to the HR. If directly the HR gets the printed copy of the resume, they are going to turn that paper and use the back side of the paper for writing and scribbling other things. Your resume is not going to be considered for the job. If it is signed by the HOD or signed by the dean, definitely that resume will be considered for the interview. Okay, so when you reach the hospital, if you are submitting a hard copy, please submit it to the head of the department or to the dean of the institute. Okay, so that is hard copy. If you are emailing, don't email the soft copy to the HOD. Okay, until you personally know the HOD, okay, or personally know the dean, don't email directly to the dean. You have to email only to the HR department. Okay, this is a kind of a channel which many of us do not know. Okay, never send multiple copies. Don't be clever thinking that one email I will send to dean, another email I will send to HOD, only to the dean one letter, to the HOD another letter, to the HR manager another letter. You want to try everywhere so that somewhere you will get that option. Don't be like that. Okay? And it will look like you are simply desperate. Okay? Don't show the desperation. So do not send multiple copies. Always you put that in the CC. Mentioned in the covering letter. Copy to dean and the head of the department. Mention it clearly that you have already applied to the dean and the head of the department, so that the duplication of the copy will be avoided. If you have sent it in January, again you are sending it in July, please mention that earlier I have applied in January. It's very important. Okay? Past interview you have attended, didn't get selected, still you mention. Be very open, be very transparent. Okay? What you want is a steady, good job. If you get something by shortcut, the same way it goes off by the shortcut. Okay? So remember, tell the truth. Even if you know the name of the dean or name of the HOD or name of the HR manager, don't put their name. Put only the designation to the dean, School of Nursing, School of Allied Health Sciences. Okay? Directly dean only, the designation. Don't put Dr. Poonam Kar and then dean. You should not address the employer with the name unless they are related to you personally. Okay? Official designation only should be used. Only to dean, the school. Okay? Or the head of the department, hospital. Okay? Department of, and then the hospital. In the covering letter, please don't mention the expected salary. Some of the ads mention that in your covering letter, mention the expected salary. They always mention. So, if you are aspiring for a job, you will have a salary in your mind. Okay? You will have your salary. How much will you accept? Don't know. Don't know. Any monthly salary. What is your?
Basically, we don't need to mention it, but if it is mentioned in the website or anything, so according to the post, we can mention.
For example, website mentions that the salary will be provided as per UGC norms, or the salary will be provided as per the Nursing Council of India guidelines. Okay, that is there. So, will you mention any number? If I ask you what is your expected salary monthly? See, if you don't know the value of your own product, you are the product. You don't know the value. Yeah, this will be more interesting.
25,000.
100 per day maybe. Huh? 2500 or 3000 per day. Yeah, 25 to 30,000 per month. Okay. So he is mentioning. Okay, one example. Any other example? Salary monthly. Don't be hesitating. See, for example, when you are going to a shop, when you want to buy something, if the person is standing and he is like, you ask how much is the pen? Okay? He is showing the pen and he is like, you don't expect the salesman to do like this. Huh?
Starting 50,000. 50,000.
50,000, okay. Starting 50,000, okay? Monthly. That means 50,000 onwards. Okay? So, any other example? Say either you can give a range like 20 to 25,000 or 25,000 to 30,000. That's the range. This is a cutoff. Below 50,000 she is not going to accept. Understood? 50,000 but greedy. How much ever you give, it's no problem. Okay? You give 1.5 lakhs also, I am ready. Okay, I don't object. I don't have any objection. Okay? So that's the way it goes. But still, in the covering letter, don't mention the salary. Even if repeated instructions are there, mention the salary, mention the salary. Do not mention. If you are mentioning, you put it like, as per the rules and regulations of the university. As per the rules and regulations of the governing body. You put like that. Okay? Do not mention the number, because you need to keep a suspense. If you mention the number, if you mention 25,000, another person will mention 15,000. That means somebody mentions 35,000. 15,000 will be called for the interview. It's common sense. We always go for a product which is cheaper. We want to get the best product, but we want to buy it in a cheapest price. Okay? That is the trick. So the employer will try to get the least quoted salary one. Okay? If you don't quote, there are high chances that they will call you for interview. If you quote, the cutoff will determine whether they call you or not. So better don't quote. Mention that it is as per the rules and regulations. You believe that the employer will follow the rules and regulations. That's it. Very simple. So don't give the exact figure of the salary. Photograph. You see the resume which is above with the photograph, the resume which is below which is without the photograph. Okay? The Diane Dessler, you can see the resume, it is not only that the person. Okay? If the resume is for a modeling, okay? If the resume is for a fashion designing, okay? Or it is for hotel management or catering, then a full picture, full portrait picture is okay, it's fine. If you are applying for a professional course, that means a passport size photo is fine. All you need is the identity, okay, the face. You can see the resume which is in the bottom without the photo. If you see of these three resumes, which one will be thrown to the dustbin? Obviously the one without the photo. Okay? And the last to be thrown? Okay? So try to see whether you want to print it in color or black and white the photograph, okay, the color will be the best, be it formal or casual. Advantages gives unique identity. Name can be same, but photograph cannot be same. Okay. Visual appeal and memory. Office people psychology. If there is a photo, they remember the person. They don't remember the names. Okay. So the disadvantage, the only one disadvantage, if you lack a visual appeal, you think that I am not very photogenic. Okay, I am afraid if I put the photo, I will get disqualified. Then please don't put. Understood? Otherwise, I don't think anybody of us feel that we don't deserve. Okay, we know that the most beautiful person in the earth is
Me.
Is whom?
I myself.
The person who is in the mirror. Okay, myself. So always remember this. And then next, personal information. So remember, there are a lot of personal information which one you can share professionally. Okay, name, date of birth, place of birth, nationality, passport or Aadhaar card number. Okay, it's a unique identifier as per the government requirements. Age, of course, you have to tell. You cannot tell, I don't want to reveal my age. Okay. Marital status, unfortunately, you have to declare. You cannot tell committed, in a relationship. Okay. All this, you have to just mention single, married, widowed, divorced. Okay. Only those which is professionally accepted, not the Facebook status. Clear? Are you clear with the three? First is the cover letter. The second one is the photograph. The third one is the personal information. The fourth is the contact information. Address for the correspondence, whether the postal address, email, phone. Also provide what is called as the permanent address. See, for you the correspondence address may be the hostel address in our university. Correspondence address. But the permanent address will be your parents' address. Okay? So, both have to be listed. Optionally, you can give contact details about Skype. If you own a website, you can give details, your Facebook ID. Okay, these are all social networking. Your contact details. Okay. You have to state the most important thing, professional aim. What you want to actually become in your life. Okay, what you want in life and what you want to be. Mission statement is how do you plan to achieve it. If I say my aim is or my mission is to be the best physiotherapist, that's my vision. My mission will be, very good afternoon to Dr. Pauline ma'am, the principal of School of Nursing and Nursing Science and Research. We'll welcome madam with a big round of applause. So, mission statement is I have to tell that I am going to be the best physiotherapist by my excellence in teaching or excellence in clinical practice or excellence in research. How I am going to be the best physiotherapist, that is the mission. Okay? What I want to be is the vision. How I am going to be reaching that is the mission. Okay? Both have to be stated. And your qualification, if the post is advertised for BSc nurses, BSc nursing, freshers or experienced can apply. If the statement is like this, you have to mention that you have done BSc nursing. Okay? What is the highest qualification which is matching the eligibility? You have to list it. You don't have to list higher secondary, 10th standard qualification and all. It is understood that to do a degree, you should have completed the higher secondary. But in addition to the BSc degree, if you have done a certification course in a basic life support, okay, certificate course in a communication skills, anything what you have done as additional, that you can project. Don't project the 10th standard and the 12th standard percentages. Okay. So always what is required, the highest, that should be listed first, then the backward, reverse chronological order. So recent one will come, the old one will come last. Don't list the actual percentage. You might have got 88%. in BSc Nursing or BPT. Don't put Bachelor of Physiotherapy and secure 88%. There's no big in this. You put it under separate heading, academic achievements. Qualification area, don't put the achievement. We want more pages of resume, no? So list half here, half later. Clear? Don't put together. And then next, do not list the 10th or the 10 plus 2 as a qualification. If you are gold medalist in your school during your 10th or 12th, that means list it as again academic achievements later. Okay? Do not list as under the educational qualification. Coming to work experience. Specify the work experience, whether it was part-time. During your study itself, you might have worked in the evening. Okay? Or full-time. Okay? You did not have any other appointment during that time. And then reverse chronological order. Recent work experience should be listed first, from the date of joining to the date of relieving. Okay, till date where all you are working. Okay. Categorize the work experience if possible. If you have more experience, different types of experience, categorize them under academic experience. That means for teaching experience, clinical experience for treating patients in hospitals, or research experience, working in a research institute. Okay? So that way you organize your work experience under different subheadings. It will make it easy for the employer to understand in what all domains you are trained or you are experienced previously. Okay? And when you are mentioning the work experience, I was as lecturer from this date to this date, assistant professor this date to this date, when I am mentioning, together with that I should mention what were my job responsibilities. I was responsible for teaching undergraduates and postgraduates, or guiding the postgraduates at a different level, okay, teaching for the postgraduate, okay, higher levels of experience. So specific to the post. Very important, curricular achievements. All of us are competing with each other. We want to get the distinction, we want to get a gold medal. Okay? Academic achievements. Sometimes you mention it as distinction holder or a first division. You might have obtained some scholarships. You might have got a scholarship through your state or for your community. Okay? Obtaining a scholarship is a merit. Okay, it's an added merit because national level everybody applies and you are getting it among the very few, selected few. So you should list that. Remember, you need certificates and proofs for everything. You cannot list in the resume without a backup of a certificate. Okay, you need a proof. If you have obtained a scholarship from our university, for example, first year you prepared, you performed really well and you got a scholarship for your second year onwards. That also you need to have a separate certificate from the HOD, from the principal of the school. Okay? Get it added as supporting documents. Sometimes you would have got some academic responsibilities like being a class representative. You think that it's a boring job. No, I am a CR. Students are also shouting at me. Staffs are also shouting at me. Nobody is happy. I am also not happy. Huh? Every day I have to come to the college. Huh? CR means. But these things comes because this is indirectly it portrays your leadership qualities. Being a CR, it's not possible for everybody. Okay? Students' council. Sometimes the school will have a students' council, okay, which will represent the students' interest to the head of the institute. Okay? So for that, if you are representing, is it clear? Curricular achievements? Yes? Yes. We are going to go to co-curricular achievements. Clubs, activities. Sometimes you might have obtained awards or prizes for participation. You might have been a leader or member of clubs like sports clubs, cultural clubs, dance club, music club. Okay? Participation in any of these activities of the clubs. Sometimes it can be seminars or workshops like you are participating here, the certificate of attending this. Okay? CME, continuing medical education. In physiotherapy, we have continuing physiotherapy education. In nursing, we have continuing nursing education. Okay. Sometimes it is used as continuing rehabilitation education, CRE. Okay. Various terminologies are there. Symposia and conferences. Okay. Different types of events they are. Sometimes you would have got prizes by presenting. Okay. Sometimes you would have presented a paper. You would have presented a poster in such events. And the third one is you might have been member of an organizing committee, a student volunteer, okay, in that event. If you are holding a workshop, for example, some of our students might have been as volunteer. So they will get that added thing that they were helping in organizing committee. Okay. And then attending a workshop as a participant is the last priority. Okay. Achievement, getting a prize is the highest value. Simple attending and participating is the last one. Okay. In various levels you have to organize your achievements. Clear? Did you differentiate between curricular achievement, the gold medals, the distinction or the first division versus co-curricular? Okay. Now we are going to come to extracurricular. That is sports, music, cultural activities and NSS activities. So you do for example, Clean India, Green India campaign. You went for just to took some 10 to 15 pics of planting the trees, okay, sweeping and mopping the floor. Maybe you really do it seriously or whatever, but NSS activity is an important one for nation building. Okay, it shows the responsibility of your participation. So all this sports representing the department, representing the institute at a national level or a university, inter-university level. Okay, you need certificates for everything. Every participation you need a certificate. If the sports club is not issuing the certificate, that means get the certificate issued by the HOD or by the principal, the head of the institute. Remember, so that you will have a proof that you participated. Okay. The references. In research workshop, we saw references which is totally different. That is, there are two styles of references. Which are the two styles? Harvard style and Vancouver style. Okay. But these references are details about the people. You can list the HOD or the dean, the head of the institute, the principal, name with their contact details as a reference, because you are studying under them during your course. That means you can list them. But list them, you can also list your guide. If you have done a project during your UG time or in your PG you have done a research project, your guide or your supervisor also can be listed as a reference in addition to the head of the institute or the department. Take their permission. Tell them, I am going to list your name under references. So if anybody calls them, they should tell, yes, I know Yakub. They should specifically tell. It's not like the person tells, yeah, reference. Who gave me reference? They will tell Yakub. Then I will tell, Yakub? Which Yakub? BPT or MPT? If I am not very clear, then they will think its name is listed as a formality. Understood? So please give a copy of your resume also to the head of the department or the head of the institute. Tell that this is the copy which I am going to submit for my jobs. So in case call comes, the same thing what is there in the resume, I can just look and tell. It's very easy for me. Otherwise, I will tell 1%, you would have put another percentage. Clear? So always take it with prior consent. The best answer is you put references and put available upon request. Why you have to reveal it? Okay, why you have to reveal the contact details of your HOD or your head of the institute? You can put available upon request. Let them contact you. Give us the references. Then you give the detail. Same like you are not disclosing the salary. The same way, do not disclose the references. Okay. But if you feel that your reference is a prominent professional icon, okay, if you put that person's name in your resume, easily you will get the job. That means you feel free to put. Okay. and the person do not mind. Okay, you ask the head of the institute or the department and they tell no problem, you put. Then no problem, you can put. Otherwise, if they tell no, I don't want calls every time. See, remember 36 students, okay. 20 students, it's fine. There is a day when 160 students will pass out. If they list me as reference, and then they will apply 10 places jobs. So 1600, 1600 places the phone calls will come to me asking, do you know A, do you know B, do you know D names? Will I be able to answer? It's very tough. Okay? So take the consent and then better put it as available upon request. Okay? Self-declaration. You state that the information provided in your resume is fully true to the best of your knowledge, and then you also declare that I will contribute my best towards the growth and the development of the institute or the department. Okay, so be positive, and then most importantly, date and signature is very important. You all answered a questionnaire, but the date and signature tells your responsibility. Okay, when you sign, that is when you are actually responsible. Date also tells which date you are updating the resume or when you are applying for the job. Okay, so it's always important, the date of application. Any questions still here? So we saw 13 parts of the resume. I'm going to show all again. Okay. So we saw the cover letter. You know what should be there in the covering letter. Do you know the importance of photograph? Do you know the importance of personal information? Make sure that you don't reveal the secret questions, okay, in your resume. The contact information, your professional aim, okay, what is your qualification, and then your work experience, and then followed by your achievements, curricular achievements, co-curricular achievements, extracurricular achievements, and then you have the last one, which is the references, and then your declaration, then your date and signature. Okay, that's the part of resumes. Any questions still here? Yes? Okay. So I'm running through the slides. Yes. Yeah. What we'll have now is a short gap of 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Then we'll have a situation of what exactly happens in an interview. It's fine with all of you? Yes? Okay.